Old women have played a big role in fairy tales over the years. Either victims like in Red Riding Hood, helpful like Cinderella's fairy godmother, or, more commonly, evil to their core. In most folk tales and stories, we are introduced to her as a kindly old woman, wanting to feed or perhaps clothe and offer shelter to our protagonists. But as we know, this is just a facade they show until it's time to spring their trap on their unsuspecting victims. In the stories we have heard, the victims usually turn the tables on this evil old woman and defeat her. But those are just stories, something you read to your children as you tuck them in at night. What if the evil women from stories were real? Do you think you would be able to tell the difference between her and the old woman who actually wishes you well? Do you think you would be able to see through her kindly exterior before it's too late?
Hey, grave diggers. Jinx. This is take 2 because, well, new mic setups kind of get you a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just have a little bit of grace with us. We do want to apologize. We are still a new podcast and we are still trying to figure things out. So
We're trying to make everything as like the best quality that we can. And sometimes you experiment with something and you don't quite figure out the like levels or whatever. So it kind of sucked to get a message from our editor this morning or late last night. Be like, so it's painful to listen to, let alone edit. We're going to have to re-record.
So
Take 2.
yeah.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Thanks, y'all. Bye. Welcome to Tales from the Graves, where shadows lurk and whispers echo.
Join us as we delve into the unknown, exploring tales of mystery, horror, and the supernatural.
Be prepared to journey into the darkness, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jess.
Together, we're the Grave Sisters, and we'll be your guides as we unearth the strange and unusual.
So find your flashlight, grab your shovel, and let's dig in.
The following podcast is rated for mature audiences.
It may contain graphic scenes of violence and explicit language that some may find disturbing.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode 9, Gravediggers. We're almost to 10, which is absolutely bonkers to me because I didn't think we would ever make it to this point. So I'm just going to say I'm super proud of us and thankful for all of this help and support that we've received. Any words, Sister Dia?
We love you guys. For real. We love everyone that's been sharing the word about us, everyone that has been rating and commenting and liking. Keep it up because it means you appreciate us and then we appreciate you even more back.
Yeah. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping before we dig into things. Did you know that you can listen to Tales from the Graves on Spotify now? You can listen there completely free, no subscription required. We've been working on getting on there for a bit, and now we're there, which is so cool. Because that's where I listen to my favorite podcasts like Morbid and Heart Starts Pounding. So hop on over there and give us a follow. We can't wait to see our community grow. Speaking of community, we also have a Discord server, The Graveyard. Link is on Instagram, Tales from the Graves Pod. And of course, our Podbean page has everything. We're working on getting more information on there as time goes by. So keep your eyes peeled for updates. Now, Jess.
Jen.
I know you can see what topic I'm writing about on Trello. For those of you who have no idea what Trello was, much like I didn't know what was on Trello, it's our handy-dandy board where we keep track of what we need to do versus doing, and then what's been done. It's really great to have. This episode isn't sponsored by them, but it would be great if it was.
It would be awesome.
Anyway, you can see what topic I picked from the future episodes board. But do you know who Tamara Samsonova is and what she did?
I never really heard of Tamara Samsonova. But the main topic that you put on there, I'm not going to mention it because I want them to be shocked about what she was, what she did. Let's just say it was really, really bad. Yeah.
Okay, so it's an old woman.
Okay.
She's known as Granny Ripper.
Whoa. Granny Ripper? Like Jack the Ripper, but in grandma form?
Yeah.
Okay.
So think a little more like arsenic and old lace, but instead of two kindly old women just wanting to make their boarders less lonely, Tamara Samsonova murdered for various reasons. She was born either on February 5th or April 25th of 1947. While researching this case, I found two dates. The more often cited is the birthday in February, however, and she is known as Granny Ripper and the real-life BaBa Yaga. Yeah, the house with the chicken feet and everything. Except she didn't have the awesome chicken foot house.
What are you talking about, chicken foot?
Do you not know who BaBa Yaga is?
I thought BaBa Yaga was the nickname for the boogeyman that they gave John Wick.
Oh my...
Isn't that what BaBa Yaga means?
No! Okay, so... I guess we're going into a little bit of lore right now, but BaBa Yaga is an ambiguous character from Slavic folklore, or one of a trio of sisters of the same name, who has two opposite roles. In some motifs, she is described as a repulsive or ferocious-looking old woman who fries and eats children, while the other, she is a nice old woman who helps out the hero. She is often associated with forest wildlife. Her distinctive traits are flying around in a wooden mortar, wielding a pestle, so it's like a mortar and pestle, and dwelling deep in the forest in a hut standing on chicken legs.
Okay. Question is, are they big chicken legs or are they like tiny little chicken legs?
Oh, they're big chicken legs. So
it's like Howl's Moving Castle, but with chicken legs.
Okay, so here's kind of a rendition, except think a little more grotesque.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For those of you who can't see us, of course, because we're not recording. Yeah, it looks like a house that looks like it's mated with a chicken.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. Okay, continue.
Oh, God. Okay, well, that's one of her nicknames, known as the real-life BaBa Yaga. Now, before she got those nicknames, she seemed to live a pretty normal life. She graduated high school and moved to Moscow to enter the Moscow State Linguistic University. After she graduated there, she moved over to St. Petersburg. That's where she met Alexei Samsonova. They were married shortly after, and in 1971, she and her husband settled in a newly built panel house, number 4, on Dimitrov Street. The total time married was around 30 years. During this time, she worked for a travel agency before getting a job at the Grand Hotel Europe. At the time of her retirement, she worked for the hotel for about 16 years. We don't know how much of Tamara's early life beyond this. This could be due to a number of things, especially since it's in Russia, which went through the dissolution of the USSR during her lifetime.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course, because she was born in the 40s, about 40 years later.
Yes.
Mr. Gorbachev, bring down this. Okay, yeah. Berlin Wall, gotcha. Okay.
Exactly. And during that whole upheaval, a lot of documents were lost and history and things of that nature, because history is wrote by the winners.
Yeah.
It was in 2000 when things began to happen. Her husband, Alexei, disappeared. She appealed to police for help and also told them that he had run off with another woman. Yeah. They had no reason to doubt her, so the police took her word for face value and didn't really look further into it. Is it possible that he did run off with another woman? Sure.
Maybe. I don't know. That might be the reason why she turned out to be the Granny Ripper, because she was ticked. You never know.
But with what we know now about her, it's more believable that Tamara killed her husband and got rid of the body. Though there isn't any definitive proof to that, so I will say that. It was after her husband's alleged disappearance that she began renting out a room in her apartment. It appeared that Tamara didn't want to live alone. She went through a number of roommates, however, because she was supposedly very difficult to live with. Neighbors said that it wasn't uncommon to hear yelling, banging, and all sorts of loud noises from the apartment. It seemed like an argument would happen, and the next thing you knew, her roommate had just moved out.
Ooh, because I know that I've had several roommates in the past, and kicking them out and getting them out of your house is a lot harder than that.
Sometimes, I don't know. Now, keep in mind that from 2000, Tamara has had several roommates. Well, in March of 2015, she met a 79-year-old Valentina Ulanova, who also lived on Dimitrov Street. A friend of the two apparently asked if Valentina would mind taking Tamara in as her apartment was being renovated. Today, we know that if a friend asked us to take in another friend that we didn't know, like a complete stranger, we would be like, no.
Why can't you take them in?
Exactly. And why is that? Because stranger danger. People could be cuckoo cuckoo, and you don't even know it. Like, they seem normal and fine, and then the next thing you know, they're like, did you touch my toothpaste? Bitch, no, I got my own.
My sandwich?
My sandwich? So, anyway, we know that they can be cuckoo, basically.
Yeah.
Well, Valentina didn't think that way. No siree. She agreed to help Tamara out. Their living arrangement worked out for a few months. During this time, Tamara helped with the cleaning around the house and taking care of Valentina. Things soured quickly, however, when Tamara apparently took issue with the dirty cups or dishes in the sink. It became clear that neither her nor Valentina wanted to do the dishes. I mean, samesies, girl, I'm there, but like, I still do them.
Yeah, I hate the dishes. But then again, if I have dishes piled up in my sink, I feel like my house is not clean. That's the first thing I do when I clean house, is do the dishes. Plus, do you want ants? That's how you get ants.
That's how you get ants. Just going Hulk Hogan. Woo. So either during the fight or right after the fight, Valentina told Tamara that she wanted her out of her apartment. Tamara, however, had no intention of doing that. So what does any sane person do if they're told to GTFO? You know, probably pack your stuff and go, right? Figure out a different living arrangement. I don't know, maybe go back to your damn apartment that you're having renovated for months.
It's an apartment. It's not that big. It shouldn't take that long to renovate it.
Anyway, well, Tamara decided to travel to the nearby city of Pushkin and convinced a pharmacist to sell her phenazepam over the counter without a prescription.
It would have just been easier to do the fucking dishes.
Right? For those of you, much like myself, who didn't know what phenazepam is, It's a prescription made in Russia, supposedly only available with a prescription. This drug is usually found in a powder form, in a solution form for droppers, and tablets. It is intended to help treat neurological disorders such as insomnia and anxiety. It has since moved to being a very popular drug for illegal recreational use due to its euphoric effects.
Oh!
Some users have also reported that it helps alleviate withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal from what? I don't know. It also helps to temper cocaine highs. I don't know what that means, but you're doing cocaine.
It'll get a little too high. You think that the coat rack in the corner is talking to you.
I don't know if that's what cocaine does.
I don't know. I've never experienced it, so. I'm a good girl.
That's a lie and a half. Anyway, it apparently also augments the effects of alcohol. So you're told not to drink while taking certain medications because it can change how the alcohol affects you.
Yeah.
I know that from firsthand experience by taking anxiety meds the day we had to put my dog down. And then I went and I had a sangria like later that evening, and it was a bad time. Oh my God, I got sick. So I can't imagine anything augmenting the effects of alcohol in a good way.
Yeah. No. I mean, with alcohol in the first place, you feel like you're not in control. And then whenever that is thrown into the mix, no.
Now, why would this sweet old woman who has been caring for a slightly older woman need phenazepam?
Because she's out of fucks to give.
Absolutely. Tamara thought it would be a great addition to an Oliver salad, which was supposedly one of Valentina's favorites.
What the fuck is an Oliver salad?
I'm so glad you asked, sister. I'm gonna give you the ingredients. I don't have any measurements, but hey, this sounds disgusting to me, but you be the ones to decide. For those of you wondering how to make an Oliver salad, it's a traditional Russian dish. It's made with peas, potatoes, carrots, onions, meat, usually bologna, chicken or ham, pickles, and eggs, all mixed together with mayo. I recommend leaving the phenazepam out, as it's not a traditional ingredient.
That sounds fucking gross.
I don't know. I've heard some really weird salads out of Minnesota. I'm not gonna lie, and they use a lot of mayo in them too.
we need to make it one night just to see what it is.
I don't want. I think I'd barf.
Oh well. Still sounds nasty.
This Oliver salad was supposedly offered to Valentina as an olive branch of sorts.
An Oliver branch.
Yes, an Oliver branch, if you will. After making it and offering it to her, Tamara went to bed. If we fast forward a few days, on July 27th of 2015, a couple from the neighborhood was walking their dog, and the dog got really interested in the pond nearby. That little pooch had found a plastic bag and kept trying to get into it. Well, the couple got curious as to what all the fuss was about. They didn't expect to open the bag and find a headless and limbless torso. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see. Rover just lapping up and trying to eat, right?
Yummy. Okay.
They contacted the police immediately, who actually jumped right on it.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. After doing all the stuff that I guess you do at the scene a body's found, they started asking around. They finally got a report from someone who had witnessed Tamara carrying bags out of her apartment a few nights ago. After taking a head count of those who lived in the neighborhood, they found out that Valentina Ulanova hadn't been seen for days. So what do the police do? Well, they go to Valentina's apartment, the very one she shared with Tamara Samsonova. Tamara had no problem letting the police inside. In fact, she was very welcoming and kind, answering all of their questions willingly. Once inside the apartment, the police found traces of blood in the kitchen and bathroom. They confronted Tamara about the blood and the fact that no one had seen her roommate, Valentina, in days. Surprisingly, Tamara quickly admitted to the murder and dismemberment of Valentina Ulanova, and then the murders of 3 other people.
Okay. Why would she just be willingly spilling her guts, so to say?
Girl, she old.
She's like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm about to die anyway.
Well, let me go into, a little bit of like the aftermath, and we actually kind of get a glimpse into Tamara's head, I guess. Okay. She was arrested that day, and police continued the investigation, following up and getting the CCTV footage of Samsonova making several different trips from the apartment carrying plastic bags, which they found out all contained body parts. They also saw her carrying out a saucepan, like a stock pan.
So she made like people broth.
Pretty sure. So how did the events of the night she made the Oliver salad go? Well, she mixed all of that stuff up with a phenazepam. And between her confession to the police and her diary, we know the following happened. Yes, because this old woman kept a diary. Hold on. It gets a little weirder.
My face right now is like, what the Okay.
Stay with me. Okay. Hold on to your pants. Tamara woke up at 2 a.m. on July 23rd, 2015, and found Valentina on the kitchen floor. She began to dismember her body with a hacksaw and 2 knives. When this all began, it's reported that Valentina had still been breathing. Yes. All right, so the phenazepam knocked her out. It is unclear if she felt any pain, because much like you get knocked out for surgery, you don't really feel anything that's going on because you're in such a deep sleep. So we don't know what level of, I guess, awareness Valentina was. It's horrific that this all happened. Tamara then placed the head and hands into that pot and boiled them on the stove. So you were right, people broth.
Oh my gosh.
It's suspected that she did this to hide the identity of her victim. Tamara then wrapped the remaining body parts in pieces of shower curtain and then placed them in plastic bags, after which she dumped them near the pond in her neighborhood. The pot, however, was never found.
What? You would think that pot would like float in there. Well, not really float. It's depending on what type of pot it was. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In Tamara's own words, I came home and put the whole pack of phenazepam, 50 pills, into her Oliver salad. She liked it very much. I woke up after 2 a.m. and she was lying on the floor. So I started cutting her to pieces. It was very hard for me to carry her to the bathroom. She was fat and heavy. I did everything at the kitchen where she was lying. After searching the apartment, they found Tamara's diary. It's also noted that there were books about black magic and astrology, which honestly have nothing to do,
Yeah.
But, satanic panic and all that, and this is Russia, and it's I guess it just doesn't look good. Honestly, if my body came up missing or something, my body like I'm dead. If I came up dead and you looked in my enclosure at my cabinet, you'd be like, holy crap, this girl worships the devil. I don't. I just like witchy stuff. But it doesn't mean jack diddly squat. So this could have just been a passing fancy. However, it didn't really paint her in a great light to the police because we know biases happen everywhere. Her diary was written in 3 different languages: Russian, German, and English.
Why?
Tamara probably learned German and English while working for the Grand Hotel Europe. And they found several accounts of murder, much like the following one. One entry read, I killed my tenant, Volodya, cut him to pieces in the bathroom with a knife, put the pieces of his body in plastic bags, and threw them away in different parts of Ruzinski district. Another one detailed what happened to one of her renters, Sergei Potanin, a 44-year-old resident from Norilsk. On September 6th, 2003, she murdered him during a quarrel.
Was it about the dishes?
I don't know. She didn't detail it.
Sorry, I'm just so hung up on the dishes.
I know you are. She then dismembered him, put his body parts into plastic bags, disposed of them on the streets of St. Denis Way. I butchered that one for surezies. This confession was confirmed when traces of his blood were found in her bathroom. Yeah. All of these confessions were among her mundane musings about sleeping poorly, taking her medicine, as well as like songs and poems that she wrote.
So she was just nonchalant, like killing people was like her vacuuming her rug, basically.
It seems so, yes.
Oh my gosh.
One of her last entries was about her last victim, Valentina Ulanova. She called her Valia. And in it, it said, I love Valia. A more morbid entry into her diary suggests that she ate either parts of her victims or maybe all of her victims. Within the diary pages, she seemed to have a penchant for gouging out her victims' lungs and eating them. There was no physical evidence to prove this, but it is speculated that Valentina Ulanova's lungs were also in that pot with her head and hands. Yeah. During questioning, Tamara did confirm that everything she wrote was factual and true. Within those pages were details about how she liked to eat parts of the lungs, legs, and pieces of her victims' heads before disposing of everything else. But what gave Tamara the idea to even kill people, let alone maybe cannibalize them?
There had to have been some kind of trigger or something in her younger years.
During the police investigation, they spoke with a longtime neighbor of Tamara, Mariana Krivinko. She told police that during the 15 years she had lived there, Samsonova had told her that she was very interested in the serial killer, Andrei Chikatilo.
Oh gosh, I know that guy. That is one sick dude.
He was also known as the Rostov Ripper and the Butcher of Rostov. Chikatilo was a horrible person who sexually assaulted, murdered, and mutilated 53 women and children from 1978 all the way to 1990. Tamara apparently studied him and took notes on his methods.
Oh, you don't take... Not from a serial killer, not from a serial killer.
Yep. It's also important to note that during her 2 decades of murdering people, she had been admitted to a psychiatric hospital 3 times, and it is believed that she had schizophrenia. Does this excuse what she did? Absolutely not. But things may have ended differently had Tamara been able to get the help she needed.
Agreed.
At the time of her arrest and subsequent confessions, Tamara was glad she had been caught and was more concerned with the publicity as opposed to facing a death penalty. Her first hearing was on July 29th of 2015, just 2 days after her arrest. Tamara seemed more concerned with the journalists that were there to report her case and that her neighbors were going to learn of what she's accused of. She even told the journalists, "I knew you would come. It's such a disgrace for me. All the city will know." Later, she blew a kiss to the journalists, and when the judge asked her to address the court, she said, "It's stuffy here. Can I go out?" Then added, "I was getting ready for this court action for dozens of years. It was all done deliberately. There is no way to live. With this last murder, I closed the chapter." The judge said, "I am asked to arrest you. What do you think?" She replied, "You decide, Your Honor. After all, I am guilty and I deserve a punishment." When the judge announced that she would be held in custody, she smiled and clapped her hands. After all this, she was taken back to the apartment with police, and she showed them, step by step, how she killed Valentina.
The audacity.
I think it was more like just backing up all of her confession and things of that nature.
Ugh.
In December of 2015, Tamara was sent to a psychiatric prison in Kazan for an assessment. It was found that she was unfit to stand trial, and Judge Pavel Smirnov ruled that she would spend the rest of her life in a mental institution. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was concerned. She was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and was considered a threat to herself and those around her and needed intensive monitoring. Tamara herself stated that she moved in with Valentina to escape the voices in her head. The police are still investigating the claims in Tamara's diary, which detailed 10 murders. But they have begun researching people who had gone missing and crossed them with more body parts found in Tamara Samsonova's neighborhood, and at present, believe she's murdered closer to 21 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. As of today, Tamara is alive and receiving treatment. If you look up this case, you'll see pictures of her in a red turtleneck sweater, looking as unassuming as any grandmother would around the holidays. I have a few questions, actually, because, now the police are looking into, body parts that have come up in her neighborhood, and they're trying to cross-reference that. But why were they... What happened with the body parts before this whole thing?
That's what I was thinking.
You finding body parts.
Why not canvass the neighborhood or all that?
Because it seems to me like Tamara was real keen on going ahead and confessing. It was like she was listening to the voices in her head. And when she couldn't anymore, it was because she went to a mental institution. So it seemed like she didn't necessarily want to do the killings, but the voices in her head were like, "Go get that finessing pan, bitch. Put it in that salad.
In that nasty salad.
Then cut her up." I don't know what voices in your head sound like. I mean, I've got my own narrator, but...
I haven't the foggiest clue, but... I mean, whenever the voices started telling her to do bad stuff, why didn't she just question it?
I don't know. She probably lived with schizophrenia for a really long time. And as we can see, per her history that we know of, she had been institutionalized a few times. And I don't know why she was released.
That's what I was wondering.
If I don't know, maybe they just didn't know the extent of it. Maybe it was a case of her just going along with things until she could get back out, or maybe it was a case of like, oh, I'll take my meds, and then all of a sudden she has this slight break, and then she's like, I'm not taking my meds because they're too expensive because they're in Russia.
Yeah.
I don't know how expensive things are in Russia, but
I don't either.
It just doesn't make any sense. They're finding body parts. Were they conducting any interviews with the people in the neighborhood at that time or anything like that? I have no clue. No clue. It doesn't make any sense. Do you think she ate parts of her victims, though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you said it was in her diary, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, she didn't care about who knew what, and she was willing to technically brag about it and be open and honest about everything that happened. So if she said she did it, I'd probably believe her.
Why, though? Like, why would she do it? Is it just...
Maybe curiosity.
I don't know. I mean, she was born in the 40s during the dissolution of the USSR and everything like that. I don't know how Russia was during that period of time. Do you think it had anything to do with just this is something that you would do to survive and then you get a taste for it?
Ooh, that's a cool way of looking at it, actually.
Well, I mean, it's a thought.
I mean, yeah, it's a thought. I mean, shoot, meat might have been hard to come by and expensive, but still doesn't excuse eating a person.
No. Fun morbid fact. I think there's only one state in the U.S. where cannibalism is listed as illegal.
Don't you mean listed as legal?
No, I'm pretty sure, like, illegal. Like, everything else leading to cannibalism in all the other states is illegal, but, like, the active eating of a person, like, the dead flesh and stuff, is a weird gray area.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. We need to look that up.
Yeah, I guess we'll do it. That's fine. Well, I'm glad that Granny Ripper was caught, and I think that she was too.
Do you honestly think that she would have been caught if she didn't, if she didn't confess, though? Even though she had, like, blood and stuff?
There was blood in her...
But she could have been like, oh, I slaughtered a chicken in my house.
I'm pretty sure they would have gone ahead and, like, taken samples of the blood to try and match because it was actually Valentina's apartment, and she's just sitting there. Like, she living there for a little while.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. My bad. My bad.
No, I think she would have been caught. But honestly, like, if she did murder 21 people like the police kind of think, she got away with it a really long time.
I have a feeling when she's on her deathbed, she'll probably just confess it all.
Man, I feel bad for that nurse. Now, another thing is, like, could all of it have been trying to emulate the Rostov butcher?
I don't know enough about the Rostov butcher right off the top of my head to really make a good assumption, you know what I mean?
I think I'm gonna do that as one of my episodes in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've spent some time in Russia, and that's all well and good. But there's tons of things all over. You did Boris Kiprianovich, which I just think some Russian names are really cool to say.
It is. Pretty cool.
Kiprianovich.
I really like their accent.
Samsonova. I guess we'll just have to wait for updates. Right now, Tamara is alive, getting the help she needs. I don't know if we will see updates because of everything that's going on between Russia and Ukraine and things of that nature. Maybe we will in the future. And if we do get updates, we will absolutely do like a little quick episode or something, or maybe we'll mention it during one of our future episodes if there is any kind of updates.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
For now, though, we're going to lay this one to rest. We'll see you on the other side, Gravediggers. Maybe on the next episode, maybe in the graveyard. Maybe on Instagram, Tales from the Graves Pod. Yeah, give us a follow.
All right, love y'all. Bye.
See you soon.
If you like what you heard, please feel free to follow, like, rate, and review Tales from the Graves podcast on your preferred listening platform.
We also would like to know what you think and what topic you suggest we unearth next. Email us at talesfromthegravespod@gmail.com or reach out to us at Tales from the Graves podcast on Instagram.
And if you have Discord, join us in the graveyard. The link is in our bio on our Instagram as well as this listening platform. Thanks again, Grave Diggers.